What is undue influence? Undue influence exists when the relations subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in the position to dominate the will of other and uses that position to obtain an unfair advantage over the other. Therefore, there are the three elements of undue influence. There must be a relationship between the parties involved. One of the parties must be in the position to dominate. The other party must be getting unfair advantage from the contract. Position to dominate exists when there is real or apparent authority over the other such as parent and child. There is then inferiority relation to the other such as religious leader and their follower. Contract with a mentally incapacitated person by reasons of age, illness or distress. The party that got unfair advantage will be the one showing the party as the position to dominate, and the burden of proving that there is no undue influence is on the person to dominate.
Hu Tao and Zhongli live in Kota Kinabalu and have known each other for a very long time. They consider each other best of friends, and this relationship is built upon years of trust. Hu Tao is an entrepreneur that owns multiple franchise coffee shops. She is also experienced in finance department for over 5 years and more. Zhongli wanted to start his own coffee shop, but due to lack of experience, he goes to Hu Tao for advice. Zhongli has zero knowledge about managing a coffee shop, especially financially management. Instead of giving advice, Hu Tao offers a contract to help Zhongli open a coffee shop. Zhongli happily agrees. When they were discussing about the details of the contract, Hu Tao offered a 90-10 ratio profit. She said that since she is managing most of the financing, she should be given more profit. Zhongli didn't question the profit ratio because he trusted Hu Tao's decision. Although in reality, 90% is a bit too much for a financial manager's wage. After 1 or 2 years since their opening, the coffee shop business is booming. They receive positive feedback from the customer, as well as being featured as a tourist stop. They never expected the amount of profit and the rise in popularity. Since they are business partners, they split the profit between them. Hu Tao is happy because she gets bigger share of her profits. Although she's only managing the account, while Zhongli handles the coffee shop. Zhongli also serves and makes the coffee. After a while, Zhongli felt like he gets the short end of the stick, because it was his idea to create the coffee shop, but why Hu Tao is getting all the money? Although the contract between them were built upon years of trust, but Zhongli felt like that it is not fair. He sued Hu Tao for undue influence when they were entering the contract together. Zhongli also requests remedies for all the profit loss. Based on the case above, is the contract between Hu Tao and Zhongli voidable? Would Zhongli succeed in suing Hu Tao because of undue influence and be able to claim his remedies?
The issue in this case will be whether the contract between Hu Tao and Zhongli is voidable because of undue influence. The rule of this case is undue influence is one of the factors that determine contracts. It exists when the relationships subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in the position to dominate the will of the other and uses that position to obtain an unfair advantage over the other. Therefore, the elements of undue influence include the relationship between the parties where one party has the position to dominate and another party will get unfair advantage. Burden of proving that there is no undue influence lies on the person in position to dominate. For example, in the case of Lloyds Bank and Bundy 1975, Mr. Bundy and his son were long-time customers at Lloyds Bank. His son's company also banked there. The relationship between them is built upon trust and confidence. Leon guaranteed the company's overdraft and charged the farm as security. As the overdraft increased, Leon needed more security, and according to Leon's assistant manager, Mr. Bundy could support his son by putting his only asset, which is his home, as guarantee. Considering that the house is Mr. Bundy's only asset, it is not relevant he will give it away, but because of trust and confidence, with the assistant manager words at Leon Bank, Mr. Bundy signed an undue influence contract.
Application. Considering Hu Tao and Zhong Li's relationship, they have known each other for a very long time, and they have considered each other best of friends. The relationship between them is built upon trust between two friends with no blood related, thus, this case could be categorized under presumed undue influence. Due to Zhong Li's eagerness in starting his own coffee shop and his trust in Hu Tao's experience in business and knowledge in finance, they decided in the contract to let Hu Tao manage the finance of the coffee shop, while they come up with a business plan and agrees on the details of the contract, which one of it is the profit. Between them will be a split 90% Hu Tao and 10% Zhong Li. Although the profit ratio splitting between them is unfair, but Hu Tao used Zhong Li's trust to gain the benefit. After the coffee shop established and booming for quite some time, Hu Tao and Zhong Li were happy with the huge profit they made, but Zhong Li realizes that he gets unfair advantages although they both contributed into the business, especially Zhong Li, because he did more works. The contrast between Hu Tao and Zhong Li is made because of trust in their relationship, but Hu Tao gets more profit shares because she has experience in business and knowledge on finance, even though she did less works, indicated that she is in the position to dominate, and Zhong Li got unfair advantage because he is new in the business world. Little did he know that he was taken advantage by Hu Tao. Taking into consideration the case of Lloyds Bank vs. Bundy, 1975, although the house is Mr. Bundy's only asset, but to cover the overdraft by his son's company that increased, he needs to put down his house as guarantee. Unfortunately, the business was unsuccessful, and Lloyds attempted to sell Mrs. Bundy's trust and relied on the assistant manager and his son bought the transaction and did whatever they said. The court found the nature of the relationship between Lloyds Bank and Mr. Bundy was such that of confidentiality, but the court could intervene in the event of abuse. The bank is using trust Mr. Bundy has in them to influence him to put up his only asset as security, which is subsequent to the trust that security is given, and the contract is the consequence of the undue influence. To relate the case between Hu Tao vs. Zhong Li and Lloyds Bank vs. Bundy, both cases were based on trust that led to undue influence. Zhong Li trusts his successful best friend and ended up with unfair advantage. Mr. Bundy trusts the assistant manager and his son until he is willing to put down his only asset, which is his house, for a guarantee, which is also unfair advantage. To conclude the case of Hu Tao vs. Zhong Li, the contract between them is voidable because the contract is entered into due to undue influence. In the relationship that built upon trust, Hu Tao in the position to dominate Zhong Li because he has more experience in business and knowledge in finance, which Zhong Li needs to start the business. Zhong Li then gets unfair advantage of only 10% of profit from the contract. Thank you!